Hello everybody, if you don't know me, my name is Ryan and today we're going to be crocheting this little bee keychain. I would call this a beginner pattern, so if you want to make it, keep on watching. You're going to need a 3.5mm crochet hook, some scissors, a tapestry needle, a small amount of both yellow and black yarn, and an even smaller amount of white yarn, and then just some scraps of pink yarn for the cheeks. And then for the eyes, we're using safety eyes, and these are 4mm. To start off, we're going to make a magic loop, and to do that, I loop the yarn around my finger like that, and then I pinch it, and I'm going to insert my hook, and I'm going to chain 3. And this is how I like to do it. There's a lot of different ways on how to do the magic loop, so you can look that up separately if you want. And then we're just going to untangle this, and that is our magic loop. And so now we're going to place 6 single crochet into the magic loop. So we're going to go around both those 2 strands there, pull up a loop, pull through 2, again, pull up a loop, pull through 2, and we're going to do that for 6 single crochet. And the beauty of a magic loop is that it pulls together like a drawstring bag. So we're just going to take that strand and we're just going to pull on it, and it's going to tighten that hole until it closes. And so now we're working in the round. And I like to use just a scrap of contrasting color yarn as my marker, but you can use any kind of marker you want. And for the first round, we're going to increase 6 times, and all that means is that we're going to put 2 single crochet in every single crochet. So we're turning 6 into 12. So for our second round, you're going to single crochet in the first stitch, and then you're going to increase in the second stitch, which remember is just 2 single crochet. So you're turning 2 into 3, and you're going to repeat that pattern 6 times for a total of 18 stitches. So for our next 2 rounds, round 3 and 4, you're just going to single crochet all the way around plain. And I just want to note which side is the right side and which side is the wrong side, because I see that confused a lot for beginners. So the side that you're looking at right now is the right side. So you can see as I'm going, it's kind of curling inwards, but you actually don't want that because you want the right side to be on the right side. So after a while I just pop that out just to make sure that it's curving the right direction. And so now we're going to change colors, which is going to happen on the last stitch of the previous round. So you've single crocheted all the way up to the last stitch. We just have one left. So you're going to insert the hook, pull up a loop of the yellow, and then stop. And we're going to take our new color, which is black, and we're just going to loop it around our hook, just leaving a small tail like that. And then we're just going to pull through those two loops as if finishing the original single crochet. And that's going to leave that last stitch being yellow, but now the black is attached. So we're going to start our new round, round 5, and we're just going to single crochet 18 in black. So at the end of round 5, we're going to do exactly what we did before. We're going to stop on the last stitch, and we're going to pull up a loop. And then we're going to grab our yellow, which we haven't cut, it's still attached. And we're going to use that to finish off this last single crochet of the previous round. So now we're working in our yellow again, and we're going to move our marker and single crochet 2 rounds plain of yellow. And right now I'm going to place my safety eyes. You don't want to wait too long or else it can be kind of hard to get them in. So I'm placing them in between the 3rd and 4th round, just 2 rounds away from where we are right now. And I just want to make sure that they're lined up evenly. And you can see that the color change where the round starts, I'm making sure that's on the bottom because you don't want that to be on the top because that's kind of the ugly part. And you can see here I kind of did it a little askew, so I'm going to fix that and just move it slightly so that it's perfectly lined up in the middle. So it's perfectly at the bottom and it's even, it's on the right spot on both sides. And so now for the safety eyes, we're going to add the little backing. And if you've never used safety eyes, this is just so children don't pull out the eyes and like choke on it. So you're just going to push the little plastic part onto the screw. And sometimes it can be really hard. If you struggle with your hands, they make little safety eye snappers, or I've heard you can like heat it up with a hairdryer, and sometimes that makes it a little bit easier. So yeah, you're just going to snap those on and then continue with your 2 rounds of yellow. After our 2 rounds of yellow, we're going to switch back over to black. So on this last yellow stitch, you're going to pull up a loop and then switch right back to the black, which we have not cut. and finish that stitch, and then we're going to do one more round of black. And then with the last stitch of the round, we're going to switch colors once again back to the yellow. So you're pulling up a loop and then switching right back to that yellow for our next round. And so now you can cut the black because we don't need that anymore. And I'm going to tie both my ends together just to make sure they don't unravel. So I'm taking one end of the black and the other end of the black. And I'm going to tie it pretty loosely because, as you can see, they're not directly next to each other. So I don't want it to stretch the fabric at all. I just want to make sure that this doesn't unravel. So I'm just going to tie a double knot there and just shove those ends inside. And then we're going to do our last round of yellow. Round 9, you're just going to single crochet all the way around. So now that our little bee is at full size, we're going to start decreasing at the back. And for that, we're basically doing the opposite of everything we did at the beginning. So before it was single crochet 1 increase, and now we're doing a single crochet 1 decrease. And to do a decrease, you're going to insert the hook in the front of one stitch and then the front of the second stitch. This is called an invisible decrease. It just is a little bit cleaner. You can go through the whole stitch if you want, if this is too complicated, but this will give you a better look. So I'm going to show that again. We're single crocheting 1, and then we're going to do a decrease by placing our hook in the front loop of one stitch and the front loop of a second stitch, and then you're going to pull up a loop through those 2 stitches and then pull through again. And you're going to repeat that 6 times for a total of 12 stitches. Now it's time to finally stuff our bee, and I just like using scrap yarn for something this small because, you know, us crocheters, we always have tons of scraps lying around. So yeah, we're just going to use some scrap yarn. You could use stuffing if you want, but I just like scrap yarn for small little keychains. And then for our final round, round 11, we're going to decrease 6 times for a total of 6 stitches remaining. So when you finished your last stitch, you're just going to cut the yarn, leaving a little bit of length, and we're going to sew this little hole closed. So you're going to take your tapestry needle and you're going to thread that yarn onto your tapestry needle. And for those of you that don't know, a tapestry needle should not be sharp. It should be pretty blunt on the end, but I do prefer the metal ones. So we're just going to go through all 6 of these stitches back and forth. So we're going to go through one stitch and the next, and as you can see, I'm only going through the front loops just because I think that looks a little bit cleaner, and 4 and 5, alternating direction, and one more for 6, and then we're going to pull tight until the hole closes. And then just to make sure that nothing ever unravels, I'm going to make a small little knot here, a little half hitch, by going around just any little strand of yarn there that's close by our hole, and then going through the loop to make a little knot, and then I'm going to tighten that. And then to get rid of this end, you're just going to poke it through the body anywhere until it comes out the other side, and then you're going to pull your needle out and then just clip that off with scissors so the end is trapped inside the body and it'll never come undone. And so now for our wings, we're going to use our scrap of white yarn and make a slip knot. I'm going to place that slip knot on our hook, same hook size, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And I like using the back of the chain. I think it makes it look a little bit cleaner. So that's the front. We're just going to flip it over, and there should be 1 stitch there. And so we're going to do a triple increase, which just means we're going to put 3 single crochet into 1 stitch. So that was 1, 2, and 3. And then in our second stitch there, we're just going to put 1 single crochet. And then we're going to be turning to the back of the chain. So that was one side, and now we're going to turn and single crochet 1 in this stitch. And then we're going to put another triple increase, so 1, 2, 3 single crochet in that stitch, and that's it, you're done. So that's going to be the bigger side is going to be the wing, and then the smaller side is going to be where you attach the wing. So here I'm just sewing in that end into the back of the wing, just going through a couple stitches. I mean, it's so small, it doesn't really matter that much, so we're just going to weave that in and then clip it off close to the surface. And you wanted to leave a long enough end at the start so that you could sew this little wing on, and then obviously you're going to make 2 because the little bee needs 2 little wings. And so now we're going to sew it on, and we're going to sew it on in this yellow section in between the 2 black stripes. And I'm just showing how it should be pretty even in between the 2 eyes in the center there, but I just want to leave a little bit of space in between the wings for the keychain. So this is how I like to sew things in. I'm going through 1 stitch and then coming out another stitch, making sure not to split my yarn, and then I'm going to go back through that same stitch and enter where I want the needle to go. In this case, right underneath the wing, through another stitch, pull up, and here I'm just showing how it's still kind of floppy. So I'm going to sew some more. I'm going to go through another stitch on the wing, down through the body, and then just pick another space, another stitch to come out of. Sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. And then it's still a little bit floppy, but I'm liking the placement of it, so I'm going to go back through that stitch and up closer where I can tell it still needs to be attached a little bit more, and go up through the wing. And then I've determined that that's pretty good, so I'm going to go down through the body and out through a random stitch close by. And I'm just going to leave the end there. You don't want to clip it off because we haven't knotted it down yet, so this isn't quite secure. And so now I'm going to take my second wing and I'm going to attach it parallel to the first one, but I'm leaving a small gap in the center so that I can add that keychain. So I've sewn it down and I'm going to take my end and pull it out through that same stitch that I put the first one. And so now we're going to knot these two together, and that's really going to secure the ends and make sure that it never unravels. So I'm just going to do a quick double knot there, and then I'm going to clip those ends off, and I'm just going to push it into the body where it will never be seen. And those are your wings done. Next, to make your keychain, you're just going to take whatever color you want. I thought yellow looked pretty good for this. And the same hook, make a slip knot, and you're just going to chain 50 to 60. I think I chained 50 for this one. And you want to take your time here and make sure you're making nice tight chains so it looks nice when you're done. You're just going to chain 50 and then clip your yarn with enough to sew. And then to sew on your keychain, you're just going to thread the end onto a tapestry needle, and we're going to sew it vertically along the body, right in between the wings. So right into this yellow stripe here, and again I'm just pulling that end through a random stitch over to the side. And then I'm going to do the same with the other end, making sure not to twist the chain too badly. And then you don't want to put it in the same stitch, so I'm just making sure that it's slightly over. And then we're going to pull that out through the same stitch space that we did the other end. And then just like before, we're going to tie those two ends really tightly because we want to make sure the knot is as close to the surface as it can be. So we're going to do a double knot there and just clip that off, and then just shove that inside the body to hide it away. And your keychain's done. The only thing left is to add some little blushies. To add some little blushies, I'm just going to use a scrap of pink yarn, and I've threaded it on a tapestry needle, and I'm just going to place a line right underneath the eyes there. So I'm going to go through a random stitch and then poke the needle out where I want it to go, in this case right to the right side of that eye. And then I'm sort of figuring out how big I want it to be, and I've determined I want it about as wide as the eye, so I'm going to poke it through there. And you might have to split a stitch for this depending on where you want it to go, and that's okay. And so you're just going to pull out into the same stitch that you started at, so both your ends are in the same place. And then just like before, you're just going to knot those two ends and tuck it away, and then you're going to do it on the other side. And then once you've finished that other side, you're done. And you're the new proud owner of a Little Bee keychain. And for me, this took less than an hour. If you're a beginner, it might take longer, but I think it's a quick, fun project, especially as a little gift. And here I'm just showing how the keychain works. That's just like the strap of my backpack. and you're just going to double it over and pull it through the excess just to make a little half knot, or I don't know what kind of, I guess that's a half hitch, I don't know. So that's just an easy way to make a keychain without having to buy like a little clip for your bag. Yeah, it's quick, it's simple, and I think it's really cute. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you actually make Little Bee and have a fun time making him. As always, if you have any questions, make sure to ask them down below, or you can DM me on Instagram. And comment down below what you want me to make next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!